Hello and welcome to the High Table, a program where we have conversations with individuals who are making a difference in their communities. Here we explore their journey, the challenges they've overcome, and most importantly, what drives them. In this edition, we'll be chatting with the founder and president of Grace for All Foundation. Thank you, Mrs. Grace Ezera, for joining us. We'll begin right away with this question. Have you ever been on the high table?
Yes, but in a wedding event, in a wedding occasion.
So tell us about your experience.
Well, it felt a bit dignified. I wasn't expecting it, and voila, we were called. I and my husband were like, okay, this is first of its kind. It's interesting, and I just felt a little bit I felt honored, and I felt it was a privilege to be on the high table, like not just with every other person. So I said, wow, I didn't know I've gotten to this stage, but it was quite an honor and it felt good also, to be honest. Yeah. So that was my experience.
What is the difference being on the high table and being in the audience? Tell us about what it looks like regarding the vantage point.
So for being on the high table, it gives you a broader outlook. You're able to see everything, you're able to see everyone, you're able to cover the event in the whole space of it. Like you can literally check out everywhere you want to check out, and it's an advantage for you because you have a holistic view of the whole event and you have a first-hand story of the event, a first-hand narrative of what's going to happen in the event or what happens in the event. So it's a it's like an elevated position. It's like they call it the high. It's the high word. At least you're up there above the audience. So it's a position to be cherished and appreciated, I think.
As I say, with great power comes great responsibility. So, did you feel some kind of weight being on the high table?
Yes, of course. It comes with a great responsibility. It also comes with a great expectation. The expectation was high. At the high table, we also had to comport ourselves very well. Your composure was important. Your courage was also essential because, in as much as people were looking at the people we came to celebrate at the event, you were also in the spotlight. So you couldn't just afford to behave anyhow. So, yes.
Talking about comporting yourself, have you ever been afraid of a wardrobe malfunction on the high table?
Of course, of course, I have. Well, I think first of all, somehow you have to work on your confidence. Apart from the wardrobe malfunction, growing up, I had some confidence issues. I wasn't confident with who I was, with how I looked, and it set me back a bit. But growing up, I had to work on it because I noticed that things I would naturally want to do, I would shy away from doing them because I was like, I don't think I'm good enough. So, but yeah, that's in my past now.
So, what are the lessons that you've learned from your experience on the high table?
Okay, first of all, I've learned that it is an honor and a privilege, and it is not in any way a right. Because while I was on the high table, I also saw some people I felt should have been there who were in the audience. And I was like, okay, this is actually a thing of honor. It's not a thing of you want it or like you earned it. It is someone honoring you. So that was the first thing I learned. And then I also learned to appreciate the people at the high table, because with the high table comes great responsibility. And with the high table, you also learn how to, like, how will I say it now? You also it also teaches you somehow how to honor people, how to respect people, because there are other people in the audience who are far better than you when it comes to who should be on the high table and who shouldn't be, but you were chosen to be there. So it's giving me it taught me how to respect people despite of where they are and who they are.
So, how has it been like managing your children, managing your home, and making sure that everything is given the same amount of commitment and, it comes out the way you would expect?
It's been a lot, to be honest, because being a mom is a different ball game from being in a profession. So I'm in the project world, in the project management world rather. And I mean, sometimes my job, if I'm fast, I could get it done within 3, 4 hours, and I have the rest of the day to do whatever I desire. But it's not like being a mom. Being a mom, you need to be handsome. You need a trailer load full of patience. You need to be firm. You need to be patient. You need to be kind also, because sometimes you get pushed to the wall by these wonderful kids. And when you remember you're meant to be a mom, you draw back and you do the right things. Then it's also you need to manage your time well to be an effective mom, because unfortunately we don't have a lot of time to play with. You're either taking care of a child, you're either cooking, you're cleaning the house, you're taking care of your husband, you're going for shopping, you just have a lot to do. So what I do till now, my husband, when one day he said to me, I didn't even know you're still disorganized. When I wake up, the first thing I do is I have my to-do list. I write it down and specify a time for them. So do I end up doing everything? Sometimes no. And some lucky days I pull through. And those days I'm like, whoa, we did it. So basically, when you plan yourself, you try to stick to the plan. Then you also try to put your children in a routine. When you have a structure for the children, they kind of know what to do at every point in time. So it makes it easier for you. The workload you have is quite easy, and you're not overburdened, you're not overwhelmed. They know, oh, this is the time for dinner. They do dinner. This is the time for book reading. They do book reading. This is the time for journaling. They journal. But when you don't have a structure, everybody does as they so desire, and you then need to keep talking and keep being in their faces, which if there is a structure, you can avoid that bit.
Still on this issue of setting a structure, do you think your professional experience as a project manager has influenced how you manage your home?
Yes, it has. So in fact, one day something funny happened. My second daughter, she's only 5. She came up to me. She just walked briskly and came to me and said, "Hey, mommy, I need a pen." I was like, "Okay." I said, "What do you want to do with it?" "I want to write what I want to do today." And I'm like, "Excuse you?" I was like, "Where's that coming from?" She said, "You always write every time you're writing." And I'm like, "I'm an adult. I write." She said, "Yes, that she too. She wants to write what she wants to do today." So that was on a lighter note. But what I was just trying to say is that these kids, they look at you and they learn. Yes, planning. I specialize in the planning field. So somehow, for you to be a good planner, for you to be a good project personnel, a good project manager, you need to plan your time well. So it has really helped me. Like sometimes, if I get the things I want to achieve in a month, I put them in a schedule and I tick them off and I follow through to know what comes afterwards. How many days would this task take me to complete? because sometimes if I don't just do them like that, it gets a little bit, I get overwhelmed. There was a period I was like, okay, I said I was tired of, I said, okay, let me give myself a break from the regular to-dos and all. I just wake up and I try to run. I noticed that I was getting, in the middle of the day, I get tired, I get overwhelmed. I'll be like, oh my God, I'm so frustrated. I haven't achieved anything today. And I realized that I needed to come out from that break I give myself and I started doing things properly. So when you are working, when you are doing a profession, somehow that profession becomes part of you. So planning has become part of me. Managing things have become part of me. Somehow I have a broader view on how to manage things and people effectively. Because to be a successful project manager, to be a successful project professional, you're not just managing resources, you're not managing time. Your first priority is to manage people. So
Yeah.
I bring that home. And
Yeah.
yes, it has helped me.
So, tell us about your experience with GFAF, the Grace for All Foundation.
So GFAF, Grace for All Foundation, is an NGO I started long ago. I started as when I was still in school. That was in 2008. I just felt like I needed to give back to the society. And the way I wanted to give back was through the foundation, through a charity. And I felt like opening or running a foundation was going to give me that leverage, was going to give me that platform to give back to the society. So we started. It's been an amazing journey. It's been an interesting journey. Lives have been affected. We've been able to put smiles on the faces of people, and we've been able to touch the society in such a way that not a lot of people touch them. So for me in GFAF, we focus on widows, impoverished women, and impoverished girl child, or and the orphans. These are the people we look out for. Why are we looking at widows? So I've come to understand from a vantage point that sometimes when people lose their husbands, life becomes a bit difficult. You're not just mourning the loss of a loved one. You're fighting to feed your children. You're fighting to clothe them. You're fighting to put them in school. You're trying to maintain the lifestyle their father had for them before he passed on. And the society doesn't make it easy for that to happen. So it falls back on people like us, people in organizations like Grace for All Foundation to reach out to widows, to reach out to those people who are not very privileged to help them out. So GFAF, when it started, we just started as students. We didn't even know, I didn't know we would be on till now. And thankfully, Mr. Dexter was part of them and so many other people. And I loved the synergy. We could do a lot. We started with the widows of Eziobodo. We bought some food items, we gave them, and they were grateful. And from there, we went a step ahead. We visited the orphans. We went to the deaf and dumb school. We taught them some skills. We recently launched out a campaign, like the Girl Flow project, where we part a girl child, where we try to help young girls in their monthly cycle, explain to them the importance of being hygienic, being clean, and then not just end it in all talks. We actually give them some sanitary or some sanitary materials to help them with their cleanliness. And the next thing we are looking into is skill acquisition. We're trying to see if we could host a skill acquisition program for widows where we could teach them some skills they could use to sustain life, to make ends meet in back home. So yes, it's been a journey, an interesting journey, and I know that at a point I kind of took a break, but yeah, I took a break at some point when I had my last before I had my last child because it became a lot at some point, motherhood, charity, work. So I just had to break. But thankfully we launched back this year and we are going to move with that tempo. So yes, it's been it's been an amazing journey. It's been a fulfilling journey because somehow it gives me joy. Like the last event we had in Owerri, when I watched the video, when after the event, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so surreal. It was amazing. It was beautiful. I saw children being happy because they had sanitary pad. I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. But yeah, it's been also it's been demanding because sometimes a lot of resources are involved. To be a leader, a lot is a lot revolves around you. You carry a lot of weight, you carry a lot of responsibility, you wear the thinking cap. Decisions end and sometimes they start and end at your table. So if you make a wrong decision, it affects a lot of people. If you make a right decision, it affects a lot of people in the positive way as well. So it's been a journey. It's been a learning curve for me as well because there I've picked up a lot of things. I've learned things from firsthand experience, and I've met people, I've met friends, I've lost some friendships, and yeah, we're still going. And I hope I believe it's getting better by the day, but it's also very demanding. It demands your time, it demands your emotions, it demands your intellect, it demands your resources, and sometimes it also demands your presence. And these things don't come by cheap.
You mentioned about the Gulf Flow project, right? So how did you cope with the project? Based on the fact that we don't actually have running water in the country.
So we take it one step at a time. I actually thought of running wells for them back on board. I was like, okay, slow down, girl. Let's take it one step at a time. So the thing is, yes, water is very important, but thankfully, um, the society has evolved a bit. A lot of places now have water, and even if they don't have water, they can walk down to where they can easily get water. So it's a bit easier now than it was back some 5 years behind. And so yes, we encourage them. We also let them know how to clean up in the seminars we do for them. We also let them how to be hygienic even in the absence of water, because I know that water is very essential to maintain sanitary for sanitary purposes. But when we don't have that available, we also teach them how to take care of themselves so that it won't be that because there is no water, um, they don't keep clean during their monthly cycles.
So what do you think that can be done to make water accessible and affordable in Nigeria?
First of all, I would have a functional water body that supplies water to every family in that place. Because I don't know why they still take water lightly, because water is a necessity. It is not something you can say, oh, I can do without water. No, we need water for drinking, eating, cooking, for bathing, for washing, for irrigation, for a lot of things.
How do you plan to achieve that?
Well, basically, first of all, we need to get the government involved. It's not a project that um will say, oh, let's go do this. No, we need to get the government involved. We also need to get some good, good or well-meaning individuals of the community of the society to join us, and then we'll be able to achieve this because it goes beyond raising the money because we need to create the awareness, we need to get the necessary approvals, we need to get people to do the job, and then we need to get the job done. So a lot of factors need to be put inside, it needs to be put into consideration rather. The monetary aspects, the people, the location for drilling the borehole, and how to channel the water. And also we also need to teach people how to manage water well, because one thing is getting water across to people, and that thing is wasting the water. We don't
Yeah.
need messages. So we also need to sensitize, sorry, and educate the people on proper water management and disposal.
You are still watching The High Table. We'll be taking a break and we'll be back to continue the conversation.
Hello everyone, my name is Angolo Benedicta Ibaimi, and my admission to the Drive Foundation Entrepreneurship Training was orchestrated by God. I can assure you, believe you me, attending this program was worth it because I actually learned a whole lot of things, how to make different dresses like foundation blouse, foundation skirt, Google dresses, kimono, lots of things. I also learned how to use like the various fashion equipment. Okay, look at what I'm holding for instance. This is a seam ripper. I learned how to use the seam ripper. This is used for losing seams, instead of using razor blades to, to tear the dress, to tear the garment. I learned a whole lot of things, how to use my tape rule, my pin, whatever, and different kinds of things. Like I learned how to properly sew, how to place my darts and everything. Like the training at the end of the day, when I finished the classes, I was so happy. I was so happy that I did not give up.
I got to know about the Drive Foundation a few months ago. A family friend reached out to me and informed me that they were having a program, and he sent me the link to their website. I went to their website, I checked it out, and it looked authentic. I saw the training program being advertised, and I was like, okay, this is something that I'm going to benefit from. And so I thought to, key into it. I realized that a lot of things that I didn't know that I overlooked when it had to do with branding, when it had to do with logo, fonts, and designing, that this was what the Drive Foundation gave me, and it is something that I'm going to take and run for the rest of my creative stay on earth.
My name is Zuru Amarachi Joy, and I just concluded the training that the Drive Foundation organized. I was saying it was a wonderful time, and I'm inviting you to come and join the next cohort that is coming up. Come and learn, improve what you know is there to compared to what your world is searching for. Come and learn, improve your knowledge, and I trust you will never forget it.
Hello, I'm Dapper Prosperita. I reside in River State, Port Harcourt. I'm a satisfied kinesiologist in the university. I'm thrilled to share my journey as a beneficiary in the Drive Foundation 2025 in fashion and designing. I can confidently make various outfits such as boo dresses, nice fitted gown, nice blouses, nice skirt you can take to that beautiful occasion. To the Drive Foundation, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to this foundation. What sets you apart from other organizations is your love, care, and support throughout the program. I can remember from the very first day how you sent us a startup package for this program. In this package, it was scissors, ruler, tape rule, numerous outfits and materials for this program. I was so excited because it was a dream come true. I could also remember how you sent us refreshment and also tiffer a certain day. This is the kind of love other organization can never show to the students. I'm so grateful, and the Lord God Almighty will bless you.
Welcome back to the High Table. We're still with Mrs. Grace Ezera. She has talked about her experience at home. She has talked about her experience as a project manager. She's talked about her experience as the president of the Grace for All Foundation, GFAF. So, what has all this experience taught you?
They've taught me resilience.
Okay.
They've taught me patience. They've taught me integrity, and they have taught me how to be strong even in the face of adversity. So I have learned a lot from them, and I'm still learning. But these are some of the key things I have gotten from all these experiences.
All right. So, what are you going to apply these experiences moving forward? What are your plans?
It's a big one. It's still in the pipeline, but I actually want to go into coaching. I want to go into coaching young adults. I
Okay.
want to empower them. I want to show them how things should be done. I want to show them some formulas I've used that worked for me. So I haven't put everything together yet, but it's still a work in process because I myself am about to get onto a training on how to become a coach before I can launch that into the launch back and give that back to the society. I'm looking at life coaching, or, well, like I said, I'm still fine tuning things. There
All
are two
right.
areas that are dear to me. I'm looking at confidence coaching or life coaching. For me, life coaching is a bit too broad, but
Okay.
confidence coaching is precise. And I think that is where I have most of my strength. So most likely, I think that's what's going to tick for me.
So you're dipping your feet into the pool of motivational speakers, of coaches, of preachers. How do you intend to make a difference? How do you intend to stand out from the crowd?
I'm going to come from a place of experience.
Okay.
I've had a lot of experience in regards to it. So I'm only going to draw from my well and give back to people. So I'm going to come from a place of experience. So while growing up, I used to be I used to be reserved. I used to be scared. I used to be shy. In fact, it was so bad that in my school testimonial when I was graduating from secondary school, my school teacher wrote that I am docile. Have you ever heard
Wow.
docile being used for a human being? That was who I was. So that was who I was. He wasn't wrong, but I evolved. I grew. I had some trainings, and here I am. I mean, when you look at me today and you bring my old self, you'll be like, how did this happen? So, yeah.
What else would you need to be a life coach?
I have some trainings I have to do. I have to get some certifications here,
Okay.
and then I have a training I'm starting tomorrow
Okay.
by 12 noon. And then after that one, it's the life coach academy with the life coach academy. After that, I have some other certifications I need to do. And then I'm not in a rush. I'm not in a hurry. So I'm gonna take
Okay.
my time, make sure I get really equipped before I launch in. I want it to be that any account that I have with anyone is for good and that I leave an impression and that I help them change something in their life. I make a positive mark. So I'm not in a hurry. I'll take all the time I need to get ready before I launch in.
Do you actually need a certification to be a life coach, like a regulated industry?
You do need a certification, but like you rightly said, it's not a regulated industry. The certification is to build my own confidence better. I
Okay.
want to learn from the best.
Okay.
I want to get the necessary training. I want to learn from people who have gone ahead, who are experienced in this field. If I don't get a certification and I come today and say, oh, I'm a life coach, people will believe me. Like you said, it's not regulated. But I want to get it for my own benefit so that
Okay.
in as much as I feel I have experience, I'll be able to channel the experience correctly.
Are professions like counseling and psychology needed as a life coach?
Counseling, yes, but psychology, not necessarily, unless I want to go that line, which I haven't thought of going to. Like I said, some of these things are not mandatory, they're not they're not compulsory, but I want to do them so that I'll be the best in what I do.
So, if you were the president of Nigeria today, what is that one thing that you're going to do to transform the life of the citizens positively?
One thing I would do if I was the president of Nigeria
Yeah.
was I would make sure everyone is gainfully employed.
So, what is your last word to young people out there?
Don't give up. never ever give up. Never ever 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 give up.
Yeah, that was very brief. So at this junction, we bring this edition of the High Table to a close. Thank you, Grace Ezera, for your time.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure being here, and I hope someone never gives up on their dreams. Thank you.